Hello, my name is Hannah Loke, and today I will be talking to you about Kansas mnemonic strategies. Mnemonic strategies are used when material is not manageable, but then the material is changed into something more manageable. It is considered to be a transformational strategy, meaning that they use other information in order to remember this information. In the classroom, teachers often call this scaffolding, which is when students use already known material and use it to create some new material that can be easier to aid in memorization. A mnemonic device is a rhyme or acronym that can aid in memorization for students. The most commonly used one is PEMDAS, which is the background for this screen, which stands for parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. But most students today in the elementary classroom will realize this as "Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally." How will I want to use this in my classroom? I will want to use this with students that are struggling to grasp material. This should make it easier on your students to learn, not harder. To do this, you could let students create their own mnemonic devices. This could help them create something memorable and important to them so that they will make it easier to learn. The order that you create the device, the quicker the students can recall the information. So again, by letting the students create their own, it will aid in them learning more effectively than if you would create it for them. I also want to use this in my classroom by allowing students to only use it when needed. Forcing a student to use this strategy will not be beneficial to them. For the procedures, you must first teach the student the strategy using a multitude of examples and telling them how this will help them aid in memorization. Then tell the students the different types. Peg word, keyword, and letter are all three types of mnemonic strategies. This allows the student to have the knowledge of how to use the strategy and to only use it when it will be most beneficial to them. The three different types of strategies that can be used are keyword, peg word, and letter. Keyword is a word that sounds similar to the word that they are using or to the thing that they need to recall. Peg word is when you use a word that rhymes with the word in question. And letter includes acronyms or acrostics. So the first example that we see here is letter. This is over fictional retelling, using the word letter story. So the S stands for setting, T stands for talking characters, O stands for oops, there's a problem, R stands for the resolution, and the Y stands for yes, problem solved. So students can easily remember these 5 categories based on the letters in the word story. The second example we see here is peg word. This is when the student uses rhymes to aid in memorization. So in this one, they use words like 3 and tree, 4 and door, and 5 is high. Rhyme is a really easy way for students to aid in memorization, and this is probably one of the most commonly used ones. In this one, we see keyword. In this, they compare ray and runaway. So in this, we see that the line has a starting point but no end point, and the caption here is start here, run away, and never stop running Ray. So they're using Ray as a person to symbolize that a ray is never ending. How will I want to use this in my classroom, and how will this affect students with disabilities? Any student can benefit from this strategy since it is used to make learning more effective and aid in memorization, but it could be a greater aid to those students with disabilities. For students with learning disabilities, this would be a great resource for them to refer back to when they're struggling to recall information. For students with specific learning disabilities, this may be very helpful in one category but not in another. If a student struggles with math, they may want to use PEMDAS in order to remember what to do first in a problem. But for students with traumatic brain injury, this would aid in memorization and to be helpful for those students with TBI because they struggle with recollection of information. So if they can remember something important to them, say that they use a dog to symbolize anything that they're struggling with remembering, then the memorization may come quicker to them. And lastly, on this last bullet point, I have my sources that I used. The first one here is that website for Kansas University. This site offers a lot of the basic information that teachers will need to know when first starting to think about using mnemonic devices in their classroom. and it also provides a couple of examples. The second website talks about mnemonic strategies used within the special education classroom, and the article gives a lot of information from special education teachers themselves. And the last one provides a multitude of examples and again shows how other teachers have used this in their classroom. If you all have any questions, just please let me know, and thank you for listening.